Welcome to episode 2 of the Recruiting Assist of the Day. Excited to talk some recruiting. There's a topic that I tweet quite a bit about and talk about a lot, and I think that it's probably the biggest hot button issue in college basketball right now, and that's transfers or the transfer portal. So I think that's where I want to spend a little bit of time talking about today. As of today, Sunday, January 5th, is the time of recording. You'll probably see this in 2 days, so that means that there'll probably be, if the trends follow what they've been the last couple days with, 6 new names being added to the transfer portal over just the weekend, will probably be a little bit higher, but right now we're at 106 names in the transfer portal. And, I think that there's many reasons why kids transfer, right? And everyone's different, and there's no, I'm not here to judge anybody or say, hey, this kid shouldn't be transferring, they should stay and they should figure it out. I think it all circles back and goes back to starting off from the very beginning and finding the right fit, choosing the school that fits for you. And, I was making a metaphor, in a conversation that I was having about it yesterday. And what I said was, it's almost like choosing a pair of shoes, right? And, if your shoes don't fit, if they're not the right fit for you, it doesn't matter how good they look. It doesn't matter, if they're the lightest weight, version of whatever your favorite shoe is. It doesn't matter if your favorite player wears them and he averages a triple double. If the shoe doesn't fit you, it's not going to be effective, right? And a prime example of that for me was I had a new pair of shoes just the other day, wore them once. And I went out and I was playing basketball, and they were just really tight. And I'm like, okay, well, I can just fight through it, no big deal. And originally, I was fine, and I played through it for the first couple games, and then it got worse and worse and worse to the point where I just had to sit down. I had to take the shoes off, and I won't wear them again, right? So I'm done with that pair of shoes after one wear. So after a relatively short amount of time, I've decided that those shoes weren't a good fit for me, and they're not gonna work. And I think that happens, right? But for me, I had to think about it and think back on it. Now, I've worn the same size for over 20 years, and I don't even try on shoes anymore. I just say, okay, hey, this is what I want, and I go get it, right? Or I think that that's what I want. But if I don't try that shoe on, I don't really know if it fits me, right? Because different shoes are made differently. Maybe there's a little extra cushioning. Maybe, this different style or this different, they added something to it to try and make it, more aerodynamic, whatever the case may be. That's on me because I didn't try that shoe on, right? I didn't make sure that it was the right fit. I didn't do my due diligence. And that's what I think is happening for the most part in the recruiting process with a lot of these student athletes. They're saying, okay, hey, I want to be a Division I basketball player, but they're not really understanding what that means, right? And the amount of work that goes into that. Or, they do understand the amount of work that goes into that, and they do know that they want to be a Division I basketball player, but they're saying, I want to play in the Atlantic 10. And maybe their work ethic is more along the lines of MEAC or Horizon League, right? Or, hey, I want to play, I want to be Power 5 because that's what I see all up and down my Twitter feed, and that's what I see on ESPN, and I want all my friends to watch me on TV and watch me on ESPN. But, maybe it's a better fit for me to be a mid-major player and get more playing time and get more development and just have a better situation, better overall fit and feel, right? Or, hey, that team, I like their gear and I like the way their uniforms look, or I like, whatever it is I like about that school, but I haven't done any research on the coach and the coaching style. And my personality just doesn't mesh with a coach that's going to be very hard-nosed or expect me. For example, great example, I watched VCU play today. Mike Rhodes, historically, his teams play hard. His guys play hard. He's going to be on you. He's going to expect you to play hard. If you're a finesse player that's not going to play hard, not going to dive on the floor for balls, probably not the best fit for you. And that's okay, but it's about finding the right fit in the right situation. So today's recruiting assist of the day is very, very, very important for any student athlete in any sport that's expecting or looking or wanting to play at the next level. And that's, you have to find the right fit. You have to try that school on for size. Take visits, not just an official visit, but take an unofficial visit. Meet with the academic staff, meet with the support staff, meet with, just regular people on campus. See what it's going to be like living there. Get an understanding for what the area is. Talk to some former players. Talk to some alumni that didn't play. Really just get an understanding of where you're going to be spending the next 4 years of your life. Because if you don't know that and you're going there solely for the game of basketball, the second basketball gets tough, because right now basketball is the easiest thing, right? It's simple. You love playing ball. You love stepping on the court. I know as an athlete, when I was playing my sport, any problem that existed in my life outside of the sport, when I stepped into practice or into a game setting, it disappeared. Now, when that problem, your refuge becomes a problem, and you don't have anything else to lean on because you're not comfortable in that environment, or you don't really identify with anybody on campus, so you don't have a mentor, you don't have friends, you're far away from family, whatever the case may be. I just think that it's vitally important that each student athlete figures out what's the best fit for them, regardless of what your friends are going to think if you're playing at school A versus school B, regardless of which school gets more face time on TV, regardless of which team has the better winning record over the last 5 years. None of that matters. What matters is that it's the right fit for you, and that you do your legwork and your due diligence on the front end to make sure that it's the right fit for you. So a couple pointers that I'm going to give you. Number one, unofficial visits. And my take on that is a lot of people like to do unofficial visits during spring break periods. There's nothing wrong with that, but I like going to see schools when they're practicing. Show up and watch a practice. Get an understanding for how that coach coaches his players. Right. The other thing I say, you got to watch a game. You've got to watch a game, and I like to watch a lot of basketball games because I like to understand how my guys will fit into that system. I'm not going to call a coach and say, "Hey, coach, I've got a kid that can play for you," just because he's a high major kid and this is a high major program, if that school doesn't fit his playing style. So I think it's important that you investigate that. I think it's important that you understand the academic resources available. So when you go on that visit, don't just focus on the academic side of things. The athletic side of things. You need to go see the counselors. You need to go to the library and see what that setup is like and what that setting is like. All of those things are going to be very, very important for your success, your long-term continued success, and to keep you out the portal. My goal is to keep all of my kids out of the portal. If something comes up and it's just, they got to go. Things happen, but transferring because it wasn't the right fit when you didn't do your due diligence on the front end, to me, that's unacceptable. So recruiting assist of the day, let's stay out of the portal by doing our legwork on the front end. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.